Alrighty, because I know a bunch of you motherfuckers like to watch this after it's live. Hey, I gotta talk as soon as I go live, otherwise there's a whole bunch of random silence, you know? Ain't that something? Awkward silence, you know? A little automatic. Let's put that on, get that on, swap that from top chat to live chat, and then we are golden. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Therapy day canceled? No, I moved. I had to move my therapy to like Monday. You know, I had to move it to Monday. But I'm still working on my new schedule. You're gonna have to give me a chance here. I gotta figure everything out. I gotta figure everything out, folks. Live on a Wednesday. Live on a Wednesday. My brother's a Marine. Are you serious? No, I'm dead ass. We're putting boots on the ground in Iran. I'm barely alive. Jesus, Nelson. You need garlic, ginger, lemon, and honey. That's what you need. I've been taking potions like crazy. Yeah, I believe it. Is Trump starting World War III? He already did. World War III already began. Trump started World War III last June, bro. But yeah, no, we're going to be putting boots on the ground. We are going to be putting boots on the ground, folks. I have clips from Pete Hegseth's speech. A lot of tabs queued up. However, we could watch his speech in full. It's about half an hour, if you guys would like. Nelson and I are sick. You guys are both sick. I'm on the tail end of my sickness. I'm almost done. I am almost done. Hey, Shag, did you see the artwork that was done of us? Did you see the artwork of the Salt Crew? I think Triv has it, or I think I collab posted it. Did you see it, Shag? Did. Super cool. Check this out, guys.
Isn't breaking news or nothing. Dogs. Endemic just sent this to our little text group chat. Somebody made a picture of me, Endemic, Shag, and fucking Valenti, bro. What the fuck? Nah, this is crazy. Hey, yo, this is fucking nuts.
Dude, that's like really cool. That's really fucking cool. Hey, Pete, we're gonna watch your speech pretty soon. That's pretty damn cool, if I do say so myself. That's pretty damn cool. Endemic, Trave, me, Shag. Incredible. Incredible. I predicted this in the Bugle. What, boots on the ground? Oh, you want a quick little Bella Ciao? We can start off with a quick little Bella Ciao. Thank you for the $20. Unama. Oh, what the fuck is going on there? Hold on. Stalin. And then back to Una mattina mi sono alzato, un bello ciao, bello ciao, bello ciao, ciao, ciao. Una mattina mi sono alzato e ho trovato invasor. Oh partigiano, portami via. Un bello ciao, bello ciao, bello ciao, ciao, ciao. Partigiano, portami via. Che mi sento di morir. Religious war? Yeah, no, we're in a holy war. We're in a holy war to the point where I have reporting here that U.S. like lieutenants and commanders were telling soldiers that they are fighting in a holy war and that Donald Trump was sent by Jesus Christ to destroy Iran. That's not a joke, bro. I have that queued up. U.S. commander told troops Trump has been anointed by Jesus to wage war on Iran. There were over 200 calls to the Military Religious Freedom Foundation because, you know, you may not know this, but a lot of soldiers do not like when you tie religion into their fucking combat. You know, it's insulting because some of them are actually religious and then other ones are like worried that you're going to send them into a holy war. But yeah, no, we live in like a obscene dystopia. And then also Polymarket has bets on when the nuclear strike is going to be. Polymarket bets on nuclear strike in Iran. A lot of people are betting it'll happen before the end of the month. Let's see. Oh, well, Polymarket did remove it. Polymarket did remove it. But there was, so on Polymarket, There was like people were betting on whether the nuclear blasts would happen before the 31st. You know, there was like $244,000 betting on it. But yeah, no, it's actually fucking insane. We live in like a disgusting dystopia. Can we find a picture of that? Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Yeah, so Polymarket had nuclear weapon detonations. People were betting $500,000 on before the end of this month. A lot of people were betting $250,000 by the end of June. A lot of people were betting, you know, like $85,000 before the end of the year. But you have to understand what these sorts of markets lead to. This is quite literally the Fallout timeline, right? Where when you allow people to bet on things like that, then you're running the risk of like people who actually have connections, people who are within the government, pushing for stuff like that to happen so that they can profit off of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is exactly what happens in Fallout, which is that, like, you know, the Vault Tech puts all this money into building these bunkers, and they pretty much, in order for their stocks to move up, they actually need the nuclear war, so they drop the bombs themselves, you know? But it seems like that is the dystopia that capitalism has led to. Just as a fun reminder, per Christian's own theology, the Antichrist will pose as righteous while starting Armageddon. Yeah, no, I mean, dude, maybe Pete Hegseth is the Antichrist. Who the fuck knows? Maybe Pete Hegseth is the Antichrist. How did I just find out that Lauren Boebert dropped out of high school? Yeah, that fucking tracks. That fucking tracks. I don't really mean too much. I mean, my dad dropped out of high school. He was the smartest man I fucking knew. You know, granted, after, you know, he got the GI Bill, he ended up going to college anyway. Glad to see you live. I didn't think you went live on Wednesdays. Yeah, guys, sorry. My schedule has been moving around a lot. I thought I was going to get therapy on Wednesdays, but instead I have therapy on Mondays, but it's also at 1 o'clock, which means that I do still have time to go live. I'm working, listen, I'm trying to figure out my new schedule. Once I have it on lock, I'll let you know it. But for now, you know, just kind of wing it. We're just kind of winging it. You know what I'm saying? We're just kind of winging it. You understand? But anyway, guys, would you like to watch, before we make the video, would you like to watch Pete oh, wait. Caroline No Lip Levitt is about to go live. Caroline No Lip Levitt is about to go live. Should we wait for that? Luigi! Stop it. Or would you like to watch Pete Hegseth's entire speech? I'm thinking Pete Hegseth's speech is probably more important than whatever No Lip has to say.
To our steadfast partner. Well, good morning. I stand before you today with one unmistakable message about Operation Epic Fury.
Epstein's Fury.
America is winning, decisively, devastatingly, and without mercy. Under the direct command of President Trump, the War Department unleashed this operation early Saturday morning, just 4 days ago, which means we need to remember two things. First, we are only 4 days into this. Metrics are shifting, dust is settling, and more forces are arriving. It's very early, and as President Trump has said, we will take all the time we need to make sure that we succeed.
I have a lot of clips queued up. I mean, we could watch this entire thing, but it'll take a while. We could watch it afterwards. What I say we do, and you let me know if you agree, is we bang out a video first with the clips, with the important moments from that speech. All right? I think we could do that. Y'all want to do that? Let's just do that. YouTube won't let me super chat saying Valenti was right about everything. What? How's that not allowed? How's that not allowed? That's fucking stupid. Sound is low on him or me? On the video or on me? Low sound on the video or low sound on me, FU2? Oh, I'm sorry, Valenti Simp. You know, I didn't mean to make you a liar. He was quiet. Okay, I'll upgrade. I'll move it up. I didn't mean to make you a liar, man. You know, listen, something that I think the reason why I have fans is because I am literally one of you. I'm very, I think, relatable, and I wing it You know, like, I'm trying to make a schedule, but, like, other than therapy, like, I don't really know, you know? Like, I'm just winging it. I'm just winging it. Low sound on the video? Okay, I'll make sure I turn it up a little bit. But, yeah, I'm just you, so. All right, anyway, let's just dive in. You just want to dive in? All right, let's just dive in. I want to move this to, where is it? Here. Wait, let's move that there, and let's move this here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, all right, y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? I trust you more than Midas touch, as you should. As you should. What do you mean, boots on the ground? You'll see. All right, let's start recording. Here we go. Lock in. We're putting boots on the ground in Iran. Yeah, so like this is quite literally just another forever war. We're gonna be there for fucking years. And I know this because Bibi Netanyahu came out and said, this operation will not last years. Okay, so it's gonna last years? I mean, Pete Hegseth is out there saying it could last 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, who knows, right? By the way, if you're too young for this is exactly what happened with Iraq and Afghanistan. They said it was gonna be like the quickest operation ever. It's gonna be 7 days. And then that 1 week turned into 2 weeks. That turned into 8 weeks. That turned into 2 months, 8 months. Next thing you know, we were in Iraq and Afghanistan for 22 fucking years, bro. I hope you understand that that shit lasted so long that there were guys who enlisted right after 9/11 with a pregnant wife. They served in Iraq, and then by the end of it, their kid was 18 years old fighting in Iraq. Okay? So, and also, we are really bad at combat. The only thing we're good at is having our baby back bitch soldiers calling in an airstrike as soon as the enemy starts to fire back. So, like, in a war where we do not have air superiority, we get fucking shellacked left and right. We saw this happen in fucking Korea, right? In specific battles where we couldn't have air superiority because Chinese jets were shooting our shit down, our boys were getting fucking shellacked, okay? That's all we do. We call in airstrikes, okay? So I'm gonna give you some updates. We're gonna talk about the boots on the ground. We're gonna be talking about how commanders were telling our soldiers that Jesus Christ anointed Donald Trump to destroy Iran and that our soldiers are fighting in a holy war, which then led to like 200 soldiers calling up the, it's like the religious affairs committee where they're like, dude, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on? They're acting like I'm a fucking like martyr. They're acting like I'm a soldier for Jesus. So that's been fucking crazy. Polymarket has bets on a nuclear strike in Iran. Some people are betting like fucking $500,000 that it happens before March 31st. I'm assuming that that's probably not going to happen by March 31st. But I do still believe that Israel will nuke Iran. But first we have to get boots on the ground. We have to lose about 1,000 soldiers. Trump has to withdraw. It has to be a lot. There's a lot of things that have to happen in order for the Israelis to nuke Iran. We have a lot to talk about, and we're just going to dive right in. But before we do, hi, how are you? I'm Chris Valenti. Welcome to the Valenti VOD. This is real independent media. I am a dirtbag leftist, also known as a socialist. There is nothing I hate more than fucking fascism, right? So because I am a dissident of the regime and I fucking hate the pedophile Fuhrer, my content is not really blasted out on the timeline as much. So if you want to help me make some money, there's a couple of ways you could do it, because I refuse to do advertisements, sponsors. I don't have conversations with governments or billionaires or PACs, right? So it's entirely grassroots funded by you. If you want to help me out, you could buy merch like the posters behind me. We also have mugs, we have hoodies. We got some new girly pop merch coming out soon. Kami Mommy and some fucking crop tops and booty shorts. It's going to be great. And then you can click the thanks button down below to tip me directly. You can click the join button down below to become a member for $5. That'll give you access to the member-only content, including access to the live streams after they're posted. From now on, when these live streams end, you will not be able to watch them unless you are a member. You can watch them live, but if you want to watch them after the fact, you're going to have to be a member. And then you can become a patron on Patreon. Big shouts out to everybody who's ever donated a single dollar to the channel. You guys keep this going. I am the megaphone for you, the people, okay? Other than that, I think we should just dive right the fuck in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Costs you nothing, helps me immensely. All right, so just a couple of updates here. Hegseth says the U.S. is, quote, just getting started in Iran war as conflict intensifies and spreads. What to know on the 5th day of the U.S. and Israel's war for Iran. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the U.S. is accelerating, not decelerating, its war with Iran, with more assets heading to the region as the conflict ricochets from Turkey to Sri Lanka. So right outside the coast of Sri Lanka, in international waters, we sunk an Iranian ship that had like 315 people on it. We hit them with a torpedo. In international waters, this ship is not part of combat. This ship is not, it's uninvolved in the fucking war. It doesn't matter. And now there are like literally fucking dozens of missing Iranians that were on that ship. The Iranian regime says that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's 3-day funeral is being postponed amid the continuing escalation of the war. As we know, Israel and the United States are terrorists, and if they did do a public funeral like that, we will bomb the funeral. We will slaughter fucking innocents. We already have. We have murdered over like 700 or 800 innocent civilians so far. It's absolutely fucking brutal, including more than 180 children. Allegedly, only 6 U.S. troops have been killed. I do not believe that. I think that number is probably in the hundreds. Israeli officials said intelligence indicated Iran could have enriched uranium up to 90%. So Israeli officials is like, it's all lies. I'm not kidding about that. You cannot believe a single fucking word that comes out of an Israeli's mouth. They are pathological fucking liars. They will contort and spin and rewrite fucking history in order to serve their own purposes. And then, obviously, like I told you, Sri Lanka recovers dozens of bodies from sunken Iranian warships. Sri Lanka's Navy said on Wednesday that it recovered 87 bodies after a U.S. torpedo sank an Iranian warship. I actually have video of that happening. Let me see if I can find that. Here is the video of an American torpedo striking an Iranian warship that is uninvolved in the conflict and murdering them. There's no audio to this. So this footage is taken from the American ship. Bang. Pelt him with a torpedo in international waters. This is a war crime. Granted, war crimes are like just what we do best. I mean, it's Pete Hegseth is the Secretary of War Crimes. All right, so it's time to start moving in. I want you to watch. So Hegseth did like, I think it was like a 33-minute long update on the war in Iran, and we could watch that entire thing, but we're not going to. Maybe we'll watch it live after this, but we do have some of the best moments here. So this is important. Watch this.
In a few days, in under a week, the 2 most powerful air forces in the world will have complete control of Iranian skies.
He's pretending that Israel is the second most powerful air force in the world. He's also pretending that America is the most powerful air force in the world. We do not have that title. The Chinese are the most powerful air force in the world. The Chinese have the strongest military in the world. The Chinese have the largest military in the world. American exceptionalism likes to cope with the fact that, you know, they pretend like we are the best military on planet Earth. We are not. The Chinese will destroy us in a hot war.
Uncontested airspace. Air forces in the world will have complete control of Iranian skies, uncontested airspace. I hope all the folks watching understand what uncontested airspace and complete control means. It means we will fly all day, all night, day and night, finding, fixing, and finishing the missiles and defense industrial base.
So this is something you're about to start noticing. He won't say kill or destroy. We're not killing the Iranians. We're not destroying their missiles. We're just fixing them. We're just fixing them. This is like TikTok language. Like instead of saying like, I killed him, they're saying I unalived him. It's fucking ridiculous, dude. They have gamified war.
Base of the Iranian military, finding and fixing their leaders and their military leaders.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I thought we killed the Ayatollah. We actually fixed him. Don't worry, guys. He was just broken. Oh, and then don't. Bro, we are like 3 for 3 on Ayatollahs, bro. We fucking killed the Ayatollah. We killed the next guy in line. We killed the next guy in line. Then they had a meeting to decide who would be the 4th one. Israel fucking killed him. Bro, we are literally just refusing to allow them to have a fucking leader. And It's hilarious because you do understand what's going to happen, right? This is going to lead to a power vacuum in Iran, the same way that all of our interventionist movements, all of our imperialist and colonialist actions in the Middle East have always led to a power vacuum. You take out the fucking, this is what happened with Gaddafi, this is what happened with Saddam. You take out the fucking leader, and now there's a power vacuum where the most aggressive and violent people can take over, right? So you are going, just so you understand, Iran is going to stay as an Islamic extremist regime. That's what's going to happen. The Israelis just want the entire fucking nation to collapse. But if that happened, bro, there's 90 million people in Iran. This is going to lead to a humanitarian crisis, bro. These people are going to start to flee. Like, I hope that America and Europe understands that there's going to be literally millions of Iranian refugees trying to flee their fucking country if we do. Well, not if we do this. We are doing this when it's over.
Flying over Tehran and fixing their leaders and their military leaders. Flying over Tehran, flying over Iran, flying over their capital.
I can't believe the Secretary of War calls Iran Iran. Like, I have to believe that he's doing that intentionally. Like when they called Kamala, Kamala, you know, like they're just intentionally pronouncing it differently.
Flying over the IRGC, Iranian leaders looking up and seeing only U.S. and Israeli air power every minute of every day until we decide it's over. And Iran will be able to do nothing about it.
He said Iranian correctly. It makes no sense, bro. He keeps saying, like, he just said Iran. Earlier, he said Iran. Like, I don't know why he's doing, what the fuck are you doing?
B-2s, B-52s, B-1s, Predator drones, fighters, controlling the skies, picking targets. Death and destruction from the sky all day long.
This guy's got a fucking murder boner, dude.
We're playing for keeps. Our warfighters have maximum authority.
We're playing for keeps, bro. This is such a chat GPT ass fucking speech. And I actually am serious. I do think Pete Hegseth uses chat GPT to write his speeches.
Granted personally by the president and yours.
All right, we got more for you. I got a bunch of Pete clips here. This one's pretty good too. This is where he bitches and moans about the fact that journalists are accurately reporting what is happening.
This is what the fake news misses. We've taken control of Iran's airspace and waterways without boots on the ground. We control their fate. But when a few drones get through or tragic things happen,
He's talking about 6 dead U.S. service members. $5 says, wouldn't Israel capture Iran? Isn't that their eventual end goal? Yes, but before Israel can actually control Iran, they needed to turn into a completely failed state. They want the Iranian people to die in mass. That's not a joke. They want them to suffer and die in mass and then turn against their own leadership, slaughter their own government. Hopefully, according to the Israelis, this is what they want. Millions of them flee the fucking nation. Yeah, in order for Israel to conquer Iran, they need it to turn into a failed state. This is not about establishing a democracy in there or establishing some sort of pro-America, pro-Israel government. No, they want the entire fucking country to be destroyed.
It's front page news.
All right, go back.
We control their fate. But when a few drones get through or tragic things happen, it's front page news. I get it. The press only wants to make the president look bad, but
so you're essentially saying stop covering it when American soldiers die. Stop covering it when drones get through. Stop covering it when missiles pierce the Iron Dome. Only cover the good stuff.
Try for once to report the reality. The terms of this war will be set by us at every step.
I'm sorry, is it not a reality that 6 U.S. service members were killed? Is it not a reality that 3 of our fighter jets were shot down? Is it not a reality that the Iranians pierced through the Iron Dome and bombed the fuck out of Jerusalem, Haifa, and Tel Aviv? Is it not reality that they have destroyed our fucking bases in neighboring countries? Is all of that fucking lies, Pete? Or does it paint the president out in a bad light because he's a fucking moron and he is sending another generation of young Americans to do a fucking blood sacrifice for Bibi Netanyahu? Is that, because that's the fucking reality that I'm seeing. And to the GIs watching this, you're about to see clips of all our senators and our congressmen going, yeah, no, we're actually going to put boots on the ground. I hope you have fun in the Battle of Tehran, GI. Have a blast. No pun intended. I got more Hegseth clips for you.
And fixing their leaders.
We just watched a bit of this clip.
Every B-52s, we're playing for keeps. Our warfighters have maximum authorities granted personally by the president and yours truly. Our rules of engagement are bold, precise, and designed to unleash American power, not shackle it.
I'm sure there like literally aren't rules of engagement. Like Pete Hegseth is so fucking psychotic. He might have told these people there are no rules of engagement. Open fire on anything and everything you fucking see. The president has your back.
This was never meant to be a fair fight, and it is not a fair fight. We are punching them while they're down.
Jesus. Is that supposed to be a fucking flex? Is that supposed to be a fucking flex? This is not a fair fight and we're punching them while they're down. Like, what sort of man are you, dude? That's so fucking weird to flex.
Which is exactly how it should be.
That's so fucking crazy. That's so crazy to say out loud. Now, this is a good one, bro. This is where a journalist asks Pete a question. Let me see if I can get this. This is important. Hold on. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So this is where a journalist asks Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, about the strike that we hit an all-girls school and murdered over 180 little girls between the ages of 7 and 12, right? And meanwhile, in the background, they had a fucking map of our strikes where we hit. That green dot, that's the school. That's the school. We literally purposefully hit that fucking school. We purposefully, one of the first targets we struck was an all-girls school and murdered 180 innocent children between the ages of 7 to 12. So I guess we really have been fucking learning from the Israelis, but gotta look at this.
Tie, right there. You got a tie on.
Yeah. Thank you. Tom Bateman with the BBC. Can you give us an update on what the administration knows, what you know now about the reported strike on a girls' school in southern Iran on Saturday?
All I can say is that we're investigating that.
This is what he said yesterday, the day before, and the day before, is that we are investigating it. Now, just so you understand, they're going to investigate this like they investigated the Epstein files, right? We're never going to get confirmation that this was purposefully done. They will refuse to do it. They've already been sending out their fucking propagandists on social media to say that was actually an Iranian missile that was defective and ended up accidentally landing on the children's school. They're already lying and saying that Iran killed them.
We, of course, never target civilian targets.
Yes, you do. You target civilian targets all the fucking time. That's not even new to Trump, bro. Fucking Obama was targeting weddings, dude. Like, this is not a bug. This is a feature. You target civilians all the time. It's called collateral damage. You literally have algorithms where you choose your target and you're based on how high ranking they are, you can kill 120 civilians as collateral damage. This guy here, he's pretty low ranking. You can only kill 25 civilians as collateral damage. Do not fucking lie to our faces. We're not all as fucking stupid as your red hat wearing troglodyte bootlicking cuck followers.
But we're taking a look and investigating that. Red tie in front.
Just on the basis that with the information you would have, your reconnaissance abilities, ability to gather information, I mean, it's several days on now.
I think it's $5.
Is there any clarity on whose munition this was?
We're investigating it.
We're investigating it. Okay, so it was us. It was us. All right, more clips from him.
Much was made of the volume of missiles Iran was able to shoot in the first few days. And sadly, as we projected, a few got through and killed 6 of our best, who will hopefully arrive home soon. We will avenge them, no doubt. But I liken Iran's predicament to a football team.
Of course you liken it to a football team, because this is all a fucking game to you, because you're not in fucking danger, because your kids don't have to fight. Yo, not only should Barron Trump be sent, I think that Pete Hegseth's fucking kids should be sent to the front lines with no fucking ammo. I'm not even fucking kidding. I firmly believe that every single member of the government, when we are at war, should be contractually obligated to send a member of their blood family to the fucking front. And if you vote yes on the war, you should have to send your entire lineage, all of your children. I don't give a fuck if they're 3 years old. You are willing to send my family to go fight and die for Israel. Send yours too, you cocksucking alcoholic, Fox News host, baby back, white supremacist, frat boy fuck.
Who scripted the first 20 plays of a game. The team knew what plays to run because their first few drives were scripted.
This isn't football. This is war, you fucking psychopath.
But now that the game has started and the blitz is on, They don't know what plays to call, let alone how to get in the huddle and call those plays.
How bad are our bases actually hit? Many of our bases are completely destroyed, completely gone.
Iran's senior leaders are dead. The so-called governing council that might have selected a successor, dead.
So what he's saying, I want you to flip the script and imagine China did this to America. Like the Chinese would be like, the president of America is dead. Congress is dead. The vice president, dead. That's what we're doing right now. We are not just destroying the Ayatollah. We are destroying the entire government of Iran, slaughtering all of them.
Missing or cowering in bunkers, too terrified to even occupy the same room. Senior generals, mid-level officers, enlisted ranks, they can't talk or communicate, let alone mount a coordinated and sustained offensive. That's not great for morale.
Got more here. Oh, okay. So that's it from Pete. That was some of the best parts of it. Granted, it was a 33-minute long speech and it was all fucking psychopathic shit. But now we're going to start talking about boots on the ground in Iran, because our senators and our congressmen were given like sort of like a debriefing of the situation. And they all of them agree Iran was not an imminent threat. That is a complete lie. Iran was not going to attack the United States of America. But now multiple senators are coming out saying they are concerned that we are literally going to put boots on the ground. Get a look at this.
And I know you have to keep a lot of cards close to the vest on this, but we've already lost 6 troops, sir. The president says he does expect more. A lot of Americans and military families want to know if their loved ones are about to be deployed to Iran for this. Will there be boots on the ground? The president has yet to rule that out.
Well, I certainly hope not. If there are boots on the ground, I hope they're not on the ground any longer than the boots on the ground were in Venezuela. But I think
this isn't Venezuela. This is not Venezuela.
That's something the president knows, that members of Congress certainly hope doesn't happen, but sometimes that's unavoidable in a situation like this. And you mentioned 6 troops had lost their lives. Some had been from Fort Knox in Kentucky, my home state. So, you know, we're devastated, and obviously our thoughts and prayers are with the families of anyone that's been lost or wounded thus far.
Don't worry, he's not the only one. Senator Blumenthal, he looks shook to his fucking core. Listen to him. He actually is radiating fear.
I just want to say I am more fearful than ever after this briefing that we may be putting boots on the ground, and that troops from the United States may be necessary to accomplish objectives that the administration seems to have.
We don't have goals. We do not have objectives. Do you know what Trump said about our objectives? He said, we have very strong objectives. They're so strong. What are your objectives? Was it to kill the Ayatollah? You already did that. Was it to just destroy like some of their ballistic missile capabilities? You already did that. Is it regime change? Because you're not trying to install a democracy. What's going on here? The real answer, by the way, there is an objective, but it's not American. We don't get to have objectives. We are literally cucked. We are cucked to the nation of Israel right now. So also, by the way, real quick, to every service member watching this, you're not fighting in the United States military. You're fighting in the Israeli military. That's why I don't give a fuck what happens, bro. You are fighting for Israel right now. And the objective is to turn Iran into a failed state. They don't give a fuck how many of you have to die. Bibi Netanyahu is willing to fight to the last man. The last man being an American man. They're not gonna fucking send the Israelis. No, you're gonna die. You're gonna die for Israel. Have so much fun, GI.
But I also am no more clear on what the priorities are going to be of the administration going forward, whether it is destroying the nuclear capacity of Iran, or simply the missiles, or regime change, or stopping terrorist activities. And I think the administration owes it to the American people to have briefings not just for members of Congress, but for the American public. Nothing here should have been classified. It should be available to the American people.
Yeah, but if they make it available to the American people, then we will all find out that there was quite literally no reason for us to bomb Iran, other than the fact that we are fighting Israel's war for them because the president of the United States is a pedophile, and there is a vault in Tel Aviv with videos of him fucking and raping children. Or actually, sorry, you can't fuck children. You can only rape children. So in Tel Aviv, they have a fucking vault full of videos of President Donald J. Trump raping fucking kids. So now we have to do anything they say. We have to do anything they fucking say. That's the reality of the situation. Now, watch, what's his fucking name? Speaker Johnson, Mike Johnson. Watch this slime fuck of a man claim that this is not a war. This is a special military operation. Where have you heard that before? You're right. Vladimir Putin. Because we are a dictatorship. And your vote doesn't matter. Oh, by the way, like they're already disenfranchising voters, like in Texas, like black and brown people quite literally just were not allowed to vote. So like everything I told you is happening. There's not going to be an election. You live in an authoritarian dictatorship. Like you're not allowed to disagree with me there. If you do disagree with me, you're a fucking moron and do us all a favor and never speak again.
Iran has attacked 3 of our U.S. embassies in the last couple of days.
Yes, because we murdered the Ayatollah!
Okay, those are sovereign territories of the U.S. They have declared war on us. I don't believe in the semantics. We've talked about the language this morning. We're not at war right now. We're 4 days in to a very specific...
So we're not at war? So slaughtering hundreds of civilians, murdering the Ayatollah and the next in line and the next in line and the next in line, destroying their ships, bombing the ever-loving fuck out of a children's school. Okay, so then what is war? So then what is war? If this isn't fucking war, then nothing is.
Clear mission, an operation, Operation Epic Fury, which has 2 components, as you know, that we have articulated over and over. The president has, the commander of the Joint Chiefs, everybody is
fucking spinning reality. All right, gotta look at this. So this is important. There are over 1 million Americans trapped in the Middle East right now. And the United States government is doing absolutely nothing to pull them out. Okay, get a look at this.
Right, so Secretary of State Marco Rubio urged news organizations to put the 24/7 State Department emergency line out so that Americans who are stuck in the Middle East can get help getting out of the region, register their names and not. But listen to what happens when you dial the number.
Please do not rely on the U.S. government for assisted departure or evacuation at this time. There are currently no United States evacuation points. Please continue to check the embassy's website for updated information.
So,
in the event of ongoing...
the bottom line is, if you're looking for help, you're stuck in the Middle East and you can't evacuate, there's no help yet from the United States government. You can call that number, you can go through the website, you can register your name so you might get updates later. But the number that the Secretary of State gave out, what it does for you is it tells you right now that there is no help from the United States.
You ready to get really pissed off? There is help. There is help. However, that help is only for MAGA influencers. Trump literally sent a private jet to fly out MAGA influencers from the Middle East. I'm not kidding. White House helps MAGA influencers, including famous dog walker, flee the Middle East war zone on a private jet. The White House has helped MAGA influencers escape the Middle East on a private jet while more than 1 million ordinary Americans are still trapped with no way out. Trump advisor Alex Brucevitz, dog walker Sarah Dather, and former lobbyist Jay Footlick were among 6 who managed to flee on a plane chartered by the former after U.S. strikes on Iran unleashed chaos in the region. It's a fucking joke, dude. It's a fucking joke. They are only saving loyalists to the fucking regime, bro. It's unfucking believable. I couldn't even make that shit up. All right. As you know, Trump won't rule out sending U.S. troops into Iran if necessary. He said that he is not ruling out sending U.S. ground troops into Iran if they were necessary, adding that Operation Epstein's Fury was way ahead of schedule after taking out dozens of Tehran's top officials. I don't have the yips with respect to boots on the ground, like every president says. There will be no boots on the ground. I don't say it. You know, Trump said after launching strikes on Saturday to decapitate Iran's military and political leadership, I say we probably don't need them, or if they were necessary. So Trump refuses to rule out that for us to put boots on the ground. All right. U.S.-Israel attack Iran. Military has much greater capacity to inflict damage on Tehran to achieve Trump's objectives. We don't even know what Trump's objectives fucking are. So this is important. U.S. commander told troops that Trump had been anointed by Jesus to wage war on Iran. Now, this is because our government has been infiltrated by Christian theocratic fascists who quite literally believe that we are waging a holy war on Islam. Like Pete Hegseth, who has like the Christian Crusader shit tattooed all over him, Deus Vult, like he's an actual Christian Crusader. He believes that in the modern era, he is a Crusader, right? And they are waging a fucking holy war. So this, it led to the Military Religious Freedom Foundation says that they have been inundated with over 200 calls from members of the U.S. military regarding religious comments made by U.S. commanders about the war in Iran. One combat unit commander reportedly said that the war is part of God's divine plan and that President Trump has been anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon and mark his return to earth. Now, this is why I always tell you that evangelical Christianity is a terrorist organization. Like the United States, there are more Christian Zionists in the United States of America than there are Jews on planet Earth, bro. Fuck like Zionist Jews. There are more Christian Zionists than there are just Jews in general, right? And we have all of these commanders, all of these generals, all of these senators, all of these congressmen who actually believe in the rapture. And they believe that Armageddon and Jesus Christ's return can only come when the Jews hold the entirety of Greater Israel. That includes all of Iran, all of Syria, all of Iraq, all of Afghanistan, all of Jordan, all of Palestine, right? And that then Jesus will come down, he will murder all of the Jews, right? And then strip the good God-fearing Christians of their clothing and whisk them up into the sky for the rapture to live forever in heaven, while Jesus brings about an army of angels to lead a 7-year-long Armageddon war against the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse and the Antichrist. None of that is a joke. None of that is a joke. That is literally what people like Lindsey Graham believe, what Mike Huckabee believes, what Pete Hegseth fucking believes. That is where we're at, okay? This nation has been co-opted by the white Taliban, by Al-Qaeda, by the Taliban Jellicles. You know, it's fucking insane. All right, more here. Now, here is Bibi Netanyahu quoting a part of the Torah that is quite literally saying, now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. Bibi Netanyahu is quoting the Torah saying, murder every last man, woman, child, dog, cat, cattle. He doesn't give a fuck. He literally does not believe that there are sentient beings in Iran. He wants a complete and total eradication of 90 million people and all of the animals.
אנחנו קראנו בפרשת השבוע, זכור את אשר עשה לך עמלק. אנחנו זוכרים ואנחנו פועלים.
And if this regime of terror has nuclear weapons, they will threaten all of humanity. Therefore, we went out to push away this danger too, first of all from ourselves, from us. But we are acting here together with the United States in the name of and for the sake of all humanity. I draw immense strength from the resilience of our citizens, from the heroism of our soldiers and commanders. We read in this week's Torah portion, remember what Amalek did to you. We remember, and we act.
So yes, the scripture that 1 Samuel 15:3 that refers to Amalek, this is the scripture that he is quoting. So yeah, no, I mean, the guy's a fucking psychopath, and he's also not even Jewish. He's just co-opted the Jewish religion in order to bring about his Zionist regime. So real quick, I also want to talk about this. Jeffrey Epstein quite literally was worried that Donald Trump would start a war with Iran. Confirmation, we have emails from it.
Jeffrey Epstein himself,
That's
7
really
years ago, put
Sorry.
in writing that President Trump, during his first administration, was such a psycho that he might intentionally start a global conflict like bombing Iran.
Do you understand that Jeffrey Epstein thought Donald Trump was a psycho? Jeffrey Epstein, the world's most prolific pedophile, sex trafficker, was afraid of Donald Trump.
If he felt, quote, cornered like a rat. Let me get to these Epstein emails from 7
Who is this, by the way? Oh, this is Status Coup. We love Status Coup.
years ago. December 2018, President Trump announced he was going to pull about 2,000 troops out of Syria. Epstein, to who he sent it, we don't know. Trump pulling troops out of Syria is a bad sign. He is up to something, and it's not good. He needs a large diversion. Needs a large diversion from what? What would Trump need a diversion from?
Let's think. Maybe from the fact that there's like 30 million files that say Donald Trump is a sex trafficking pedophile, and those 30 million files are only 2% of the files. Maybe it's that.
As 2018 was ending. We know the Mueller investigation was going on into his alleged ties or collusion with Russia, but what would he need distraction or diversion from? Everybody here is surprised and happy about it. Nobody quite understands why he did it, Epstein wrote, including myself. Completely opposite to what I was told in the White House. What I was told in the White House?
So this is why I said the other day on my video that's going really fucking viral on Instagram, the Israelis put Donald Trump in the Oval Office because he was blackmailed. And with a blackmailed US president, they could finally get what they've wanted for 47 years, which is the destruction of Iran. Donald Trump has never said no to a single Israeli demand. That's not a joke. And he never will say no. Ever. He will never say no, which is why every red hat wearing fucking troglodyte, you might as well be Israeli. You literally might as well pledge loyalty to Benjamin Netanyahu. You fell for it.
This is December 2018. That would imply that he was talking to Trump administration officials in the White House. We know he had been talking to Bannon from text messages and emails that have already come out. Who else was he talking to in the Trump administration? Epstein writes, you guys need to understand that he is psychotic and would not blink twice at encouraging an attack on us, so he could leap to the country's defense.
This is also why he's intentionally leaving over 1 million Americans stuck in the Middle East. Trump wants them to die. If you're watching this and you're stuck in the Middle East, you're an American, the president wants you to die. He's hoping you die, because then he can use you as a martyr and he can manufacture more consent for boots on the ground in the total invasion of Iran. He hopes you die. The president of the United States doesn't give a fuck about the lives of a single American. He doesn't give a fuck about the lives of a single person. He doesn't care. All he cares about is his legacy and preventing the Epstein files from being released. So I hope you're scared if you're in the Middle East and you're trapped, because the president of the United States wants you to die.
If I go down, I'm taking everyone with. So if he's saying Trump was psychotic, he knew he was psychotic from personal experience. Reminder, he will take everyone down with him if he feels the end is near. I always urge people not to corner a rat. They become extremely dangerous and unpredictable. And then he says, we only had 2,000 troops there, speaking about Syria. If he were to bomb Iran, they would be slaughtered.
It's unfucking believable. It's genuinely unfucking believable. Got a little bit more for you here. I want you to listen to Mike Johnson say that according to the Iranians, we are Satan.
They have been, and they say the quiet parts out loud. They wanted to wipe Israel off the face of the earth, and they'd like to take us out as well. We're the great Satan in their analogy and their misguided religion. And their
misguided religion, just literally insulting over 1 billion fucking Muslims. And also, just so you understand, you are literally creating an entire generation of Iranians that fucking despise America. Because the younger generation of Iranians were nowhere near as fucking, what is it? They're not zealots the way that the older generation is. Older generation of Iranians fucking hate the United States of America, and they fucking should. The younger generation didn't really understand that. They were trying to push into a secular society, but now their entire fucking nation is being bombed. We murdered 180 kids. We're destroying their entire government. You are actually creating a new generation of like anti-American terrorists. That's what you're fucking creating. And that's also, by the way, that is intentional. This is what we do. We purposefully create the next war during the war we're fighting so that the military-industrial complex always has somewhere to send our fucking bombs.
There's no way to appease them. And
this is what we did with the Mujahideen, bro. Mujahideen turned into Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda turned into, the Mujahideen turned into the Taliban. Taliban turned into Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda turned into ISIS. Like, this is just what we do. It's fucking pathetic. All right, I do want to show you, this is hilarious. This is Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes. If you don't know, this is like a, what would I call him? An alcoholic psychopath, and then this is a gay Mexican role-playing as a Nazi. They're both actual fucking white supremacist Nazis. Let's listen to them coping with the fact that they fully supported and quite literally are responsible for the Trump presidency.
And I'm watching it sink by its own doing, and so this is horrifying. And so, but I can't sign on to covering up Epstein. I can't sign on to World War III. And so that's why I tried to promote the optimism, because I fucking need this, man. Like, I want to fix the country. I want to turn it around. So it's not that I was delusional. I still hope we can.
No, you were delusional.
Turn it around, but I just. Sorry, go ahead. You get what I'm saying?
I get it. And listen, like I said, I don't think that everybody that supported Trump was being dismissive about these concerns. I get it. You know, we all wanted to believe. I was 18 years old when Trump ran in 2016.
So was I. And I wasn't fucking stupid enough to fall for it, you dumb piece of shit.
And I remember getting in fights with people. This is my whole life too. At 18 years old, I wore the MAGA hat at Boston University.
That's because you're a pathetic, subhuman, inferior vermin, Nick. You're dumber than a box of rocks, and the world would be better off without you in it.
One of the most liberal campuses in the country, and became a pariah on my college campus.
It's sad to see something you fought and bled for die.
Yeah, and that's my whole adult life. I know that's a huge part of your life also, and now we're witnessing it's totally unraveling. It's an utter and complete betrayal. It's heartbreaking in many ways.
And when I try to salvage it with people, I get attacked as a liberal, which is when these people doing that can't even find Iran on a.
Yo, by the way, you want to know how fucked up it is? Of course, I'm from New York. I know a lot of different fucking people. I have friends who voted for Donald Trump and who are conservatives. I'm not going to out his fucking name, but he just texts me. He goes, "Yo, can we stop this bombing shit? Gas is $3.50 right now." You know what I said to him? I go, "It's going to hit $10. You voted for this." That is the fucking state of the world. Even his most loyal supporters are starting to abandon ship, and you're watching it live.
Map.
Yeah, well, what's called for is for us to be sober-minded about the entire thing, because there's a lot of Trump haters.
You're friends with him? I play Arc Raiders with him. He's a good shot. He's got good aim.
The whole time, but was hoping, and now I'm just not even hoping. I'm just going to be a realist.
Yeah, I mean, and really, it's okay to have hope. I mean, we hope for a better future, but we got to be brutally honest about what this administration has become.
And I'm watching.
All right, I got a little bit more for you here. Oh, we already watched that. And then the last thing I want to show you is this. So on Polymarket, they've already removed this, by the way, but Hassan tweeted this out. This is worse than any dystopia we could have imagined. Polymarket already removed this, but on Polymarket, people were betting on when the nuclear detonation is going to be. Because I'm not the only fucking person out there telling you that this is going to happen. There's $500,000 on it happening before the end of this month. There's $250,000 on it happening before the end of June, and there's almost $100,000 on it happening before the end of the year. Now this is so fucking dangerous because just like in Fallout, it is going to push those with power to actually start nuclear war so that they can bet on this and profit off of this, right? The horrors of end stage capitalism have no fucking bounds, bro. It is absolutely fucking disgusting. All right, that's all I got for you in today's video. If you're here live, you stay. We're going to keep on going. If you're watching this pre-recorded on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Please keep hope alive. You cannot succumb to the doom and gloom of all of this. The one silver lining on all of this is that Trump is overplaying his hand, and this is how he loses all of his fucking support. Granted, the support doesn't matter. There's not going to be an election. You do not live in a democracy. You can fucking play around all you want, pretend like I'm wrong. You know I'm fucking right. You'll be back here going, holy fucking shit, Chris. He called a national emergency and prevented the midterm elections, and ICE seized the voting machines and the polls, and like that's what is going on. But again, we will win. These fascist bastards do not understand that the more they play their hand, the less support they fucking have, and they are unironically creating an entire generation of revolutionaries. Thank you very much. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and click that video right over there. It's a banger, and I know bangers. Oh wait, how about a quick bella ciao before we go? Una mattina mi sono alzato, un bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Una mattina mi sono alzato, ho trovato l'invasor. oh partigiano, portami via, un bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, 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 partigiano, portami via, che mi sento di morire. Yeah! All right. All right. That was a good one. That was quite a good one, folks, if I do say so myself. Ooh, ooh, ooh. All right, so we're going to play Pete Hegseth's entire fucking speech while I get that video uploaded because I don't want to lose viewers while we do that, okay? So we're going to get this going. First, I got to bring this over here. Do you got a thumbnail for me? You got a thumbnail for me? You got a thumbnail for me, Siren?
Well, good morning. I stand before you today with one unmistakable message about Operation Epic Fury.
Epstein's
America is winning decisively, devastatingly, and without mercy. Under the direct command of President Trump, the War Department unleashed this operation early Saturday morning, just 4 days ago, which means we need to remember two things. First, we are only 4 days into this. Metrics are shifting, dust is settling, and more forces are arriving. It's very early, and as President Trump has said, we will take all the time we need to make sure that we succeed. Second, we are only 4 days into this.
All right,
and
let's get this going.
The results have been incredible. Historic, really. Only the United States of America could lead this. Only us. But when you add the Israeli Defense Forces, a devastatingly capable force, the combination is sheer destruction for our radical Islamist Iranian adversaries. They are toast, and they know it.
Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. I appreciate that.
They will know it.
I'm getting that video uploaded on the right screen right now.
Dismantle, demoralize, destroy, and defeat
episode
their
397.
capabilities just 4 days in. Starting last night and to be completed in a few days, in under a week, the two most powerful air forces in the world will have complete control of Iranian skies, uncontested airspace. I hope all the folks watching understand what uncontested airspace and complete control means. It means we will fly all day, all night, day and night, finding, fixing, and finishing the missiles and defense industrial base of the Iranian military.
He's a good shot.
And fixing their leaders and their military leaders. Flying over Tehran, flying over Iran, flying over their capital, flying over the IRGC, Iranian leaders looking up and seeing only U.S. and Israeli air power every minute of every day until we decide it's over. And Iran
Thank you, Love, for becoming a member for 11 months.
B-2s, B-52s, B-1s, Predator drones, fighters, controlling the skies, picking targets. Death and destruction from the sky all day long. We're playing for keeps. Our warfighters have maximum authorities granted personally by the president and yours truly. Our rules of engagement are bold, precise, and designed to unleash American power, not shackle it. This was never meant to be a fair fight, and it is not a fair fight. We are punching them while they're down.
Such a weird thing to flex. Such a weird fucking thing to flex.
Thus far, Operation Epic Fury has delivered twice the air power of shock and awe of Iraq in 2003, minus Paul Bremer and the nation building. The campaign has 7 times the intensity of Israel's previous operations against Iran during the 12-day war. 7 times. And as President Trump said, more and larger waves are coming. We are just getting started. We are accelerating, not decelerating. Iran's capabilities are evaporating by the hour, while American strength grows fiercer, smarter, and utterly dominant. More bombers and more fighters are arriving just today. And now, with complete control of the skies, we will be using 500-pound, 1,000-pound, and 2,000-pound GPS and laser-guided precision gravity bombs, of which we have a nearly unlimited stockpile.
No, you don't.
We used more exquisite standoff munitions at the start, but no longer need to. Our stockpiles of those, as well as Patriots, remains extremely strong.
No, it doesn't.
The enemy can no longer shoot the volume of missiles they once did, not even close. And the chairman will lay out some of those percentages. So our air defenses and that of our allies have plenty of runway. We can sustain this fight easily for as long as we need to. And as I said yesterday, we set the terms. Now, you may not see much of it because the IRGC shut off the internet to the entirety of the country. They blind their people on purpose, just like they kill their own on purpose. Much was made of the volume of missiles Iran was able to shoot in the first few days. And sadly, as we projected, a few got through and killed 6 of our best, who will hopefully arrive home soon. We will avenge them, no doubt. But I liken Iran's predicament to a football team who scripted the first 20 plays of a game. The team knew what plays to run because their first few drives were scripted. But now that the game has started and the blitz is on, they don't know what plays to call, let alone how to get in the huddle and call those plays. Iran's senior leaders are dead. The so-called governing council that might have selected a successor, dead, missing, or cowering in bunkers, too terrified to even occupy the same room. Senior generals, mid-level officers, enlisted ranks, they can't talk or communicate, let alone mount a coordinated and sustained offensive. That's not great for morale. The Iranian Air Force is no more, built for 1996, destroyed in 2026. The Iranian Navy rests at the bottom of the Persian Gulf. Combat ineffective, decimated, destroyed, defeated, pick your adjective. In fact, last night, we sunk their prize ship, the Soleimani. Looks like POTUS got him twice.
Oh, shut the fuck up, you
Their
alcoholic.
Navy not a factor. Pick your adjective, it is no more. In fact, yesterday, in the Indian Ocean, and we'll play it on the screen there, an American submarine sunk an Iranian warship that thought it was safe in international waters. Instead, it was sunk by a torpedo. Quiet death. The first sinking of an enemy ship by a torpedo since World War II. Like in that war, back when we were still the War Department, we are fighting to win. Also, yesterday, the leader of the unit who attempted to assassinate President Trump
Never happened.
has been hunted down and killed.
The Iranians never once tried to
Iran
assassinate
tried to kill
Trump.
President Trump, and President Trump got the last laugh.
That's a lie.
Now, this is not a mission accomplished situation. This is simply a reality check. The combination of U.S. and Israeli intelligence and combat.
All right, hold on. I got to do this real quick. Editor, trim and cut. We got to cut that millennial pause. See how it is? We're putting boots on the ground in Iran. There we go. Save that. Acknowledge. Confirm. Oh, fucking yeah. Oh, fucking yeah. All right, let's make a quick advertisement for that video. Quick advertisement. Hey, we're 100% putting fucking boots on the ground in Iran. Multiple senators, they're like radiating fear as they do interviews going, I actually think we're going to put boots on the ground. After that briefing, it seems like we are going to put boots on the ground for objectives that we aren't even sure what they are. Is it regime change? Is it destroying their nuclear capabilities? Was it assassinating the Ayatollah? We don't fucking know. And this is because the Israelis are willing to fight to the last man. Last man being American. They're not going to send the IDF. Are you kidding me? They're going to send us because we are baby back bitches for Israel because the president of the United States is blackmailed by the Israelis because the president of the United States is a fucking pedophile and they have a vault in Tel Aviv with videos of him fucking children. So that's happening. That's fucking great. On top of that, Pete Hegseth gave this fucking speech where he quite literally was just like talking as if this is a holy war, where he's like, we have like the righteous authority to destroy the entire Iranian government, and get this, we even fucking bombed one of their ships off the coast of Sri Lanka in international waters. War crime. And that ship had absolutely nothing to do with the fight. They are not part of the fucking fight, but it doesn't matter. We just murdered like 315 of them, and now there's like literally, I think there's dozens of missing Iranians. Sri Lanka is pulling bodies out of the fucking water, but none of that fucking matters to this fascist government. What else? We also covered the fact that there were American commanders telling our troops that Donald Trump was anointed by Jesus Christ in order to bring about Armageddon. What? This is also all because of like the fucking Taliban-gelical Christians in this fucking nation who believe that Jesus Christ will only come back to return once the Jews hold all of Greater Israel, including Iran and Syria and Jordan and Palestine and fucking Iraq and every fucking nation around that. Then and only then will Jesus Christ come down and he'll get the good God-fearing Christians and he'll strip them of their clothing and he'll pull them all up. He'll just pull them all up into the sky and then we're gonna fight the 7-year-long Armageddon with Jesus Christ by our side against the Antichrist and the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. That's actually the state of the United States government, bro. We're a Christian theocratic fascist regime. Anyway, whole new YouTube video on this. Go check it out. If you're triggered, let me know. There's nothing I love more than triggering fucking vermin. But yeah, go check it out. New YouTube video, new YouTube video, new YouTube video, new YouTube video. Somebody called me in the middle of that. I gotta make sure that it actually picked it up. Hold on. No, that works. All right, let's get it going.
That power will control Iran and will control...
I said Iran instead of Israel? Really? Fuck it. I'll re-record that one more time. One more time. My God, my hair looks fucking crazy, bro. It's because I'm sweating bullets. Whatever. I don't really give a fuck. I do give a fuck. I lied about that. I do give a fuck. It looks insane right now. Does it not look fucking insane? Uh-oh. All right, who gives a fuck? Hey, so, like, we're putting boots on the ground in Iran. Multiple senators are, like, radiating fear while they do interviews, and they're going, yeah, no, after that briefing, I am more scared than ever that we're actually putting boots on the ground for objectives that aren't even clear. Is it to destroy their nuclear capability? Is it to assassinate the Ayatollah and his entire fucking lineage? Is it regime change? We have no fucking idea. However, we do have commanders, like, in the United States military telling our soldiers that Trump was anointed by Jesus Christ in order to bring about Armageddon in the Middle East. That's where we're at. These soldiers are literally like calling hotlines going, hey, my fucking commander says that we're in a holy war right now. What the fuck is going on? On top of that, Trump refuses to rule out boots on the ground. He said, well, if we need it, we'll do it. So to all of the American service members, I hope you're ready to go fight and die for Israel because our pedophile president demands it. What else? Pete Hegseth gave this crazy fucking speech where he quite literally was just like, hey, we also committed war crimes. You know, we bombed a children's school, killed 180 little girls. That was pretty sick. We also fired a torpedo at an Iranian ship in international waters off the coast of Sri Lanka, murdered 350 of them, and now the Sri Lankans are pulling bodies out of the fucking water, even though that ship had absolutely nothing to do with the war. Then you've got Mike Johnson saying this is not a war, this is a special military operation. Where have I heard that before, you fucking closeted piece of shit? I heard that from Vladimir Putin during the invasion of Ukraine. What are we now, an authoritarian dictatorship? Almost like Chris Valenti has been telling you for the past 2 fucking years, and you bootlicking red hat wearing fucking troglodytes go, you're in the fearmonger. No, I'm reading the fucking room and you're too stupid to even know how to read, so I don't expect any other reaction from you. Anyway, whole new YouTube video on this. Welcome to World War III. To the American service members, have fun fighting and dying for Israel in the Battle of Tehran. I'll be here watching. Have a good time. Bye. This is for Donald Trump. You ready to go fight for Bibi Netanyahu and Donald Trump? New YouTube video, new YouTube video, new YouTube video. There we go. Better.
Soon. Sure, Iran will still be able to shoot some missiles and still be able to launch one-way attack drones at civilian targets, and their proxies will attempt to attack our embassies, bases, and soft targets. They are terrorists, after all, and they need to target civilians because they can't fight toe-to-toe. But we will find them, and we will kill them. This is what the fake news misses. We've taken control of Iran's airspace and waterways without boots on the ground. We control their fate. But when a few drones get through or tragic things happen, it's front page news. I get it. The press only wants to make the president look bad, but try for once to report the reality. The terms of this war will be set by us at every step. As I said Monday, the mission is laser focused. Obliterate Iran's missiles and drones and facilities that produce them, annihilate its navy and critical security infrastructure, and sever their pathway to nuclear weapons. Iran will never possess a nuclear bomb, not on our watch, not ever. And this is why President Trump's moral clarity on Iran today is so vital. Unlike the past, where vague red lines and endless negotiations.
Should we see No Lip Levitt? Did No Lip Levitt finish her fucking thing?
At the civilized.
Here we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Under the leadership of President Donald J. Trump, the rogue Iranian terrorist regime is being absolutely crushed. 47 years of tolerating and enabling the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism are over. Iran's murderous terrorist leaders are paying for their crimes against America, and they are paying in blood. Since 1979, the terrorist Iranian regime has actively and intentionally facilitated the killings of Americans. They chant death to America and fund other radical terrorists who attack our country and are seeking to destroy Western civilization itself. These terrorists seized our embassy and took 66 Americans hostage in Tehran. They slaughtered 241 U.S. service members with a truck bombing in Beirut. They killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq, and this is just a small fraction of their blood-soaked record. Prior leaders have been too weak and ineffective to address this threat. Some, like Barack Hussein Obama, even sent pallets of cash that ultimately financed this terrorist crusade against the United States.
Bro, we were literally paying back Iran for the illegal sanctions that we put on them and crippled their government.
Our people, while signing stupid and naive deals that put Iran on the path of developing nuclear bombs. After years of endless appeasement and empty statements from politicians on both sides of the political aisle in this town, President Trump is finally the man of action. President Trump is holding these monsters accountable and permanently extinguishing their nuclear ambitions. Future generations of Americans will look to this moment as the moment where the specter of a nuclear armed Iran ended. At the beginning of Operation Epic...
This is so fucking stupid, by the way. Like, if you're capable of watching this and taking it seriously and believing them, you're actually fucking mentally retarded.
Fury launched last weekend. President Trump laid out clear objectives to the American people on what the U.S. military seeks to accomplish through these major combat operations. Number one, destroy the regime's deadly ballistic missiles and completely raze their missile industry to the ground. Number two, annihilate the Iranian regime's navy. And so far, we have destroyed more than 20 Iranian ships, including their top submarine last night, using a torpedo for the first time since World War II.
That wasn't a submarine, you dumb cunt.
There is not a single Iranian ship underway in the Arabian Gulf, Strait of Hormuz, or the Gulf of Oman. Number three, Operation Epic Fury will ensure the regime's terrorist proxies in the region can no longer destabilize the region or the free world and attack our armed forces. And thus far, Iran's proxies are hardly putting up a fight.
Yo, friendly reminder, this is a 28-year-old woman. We're the exact same age. Her husband is 61.
Number four, this mission will guarantee that Iran can never obtain a nuclear weapon. It's safe to say that thus far, Operation Epic Fury has been a resounding success. American forces have struck more than 2,000 targets, destroying hundreds and hundreds of ballistic missiles, launchers, and drones. As the Department of War said this morning, we expect to have complete and total dominance over Iranian airspace in the coming hours, clearing the skies for our brave warriors to continue achieving these noble and long sought-after objectives. There's been a lot of misreporting and intellectual dishonesty.
Nah, she's 28, gang. She's 28. This is proof that evil ages you in like decades instead of fucking years. This bitch looks 49.
From the American media on why President Trump decided to launch this operation. So let me remind you, Operation Midnight Hammer, which took place last June.
Y'all don't believe me? There you go. There you go. There you go. There's her husband. There you go. Think I lie to you?
Obliterated Iran's 3 major nuclear sites. Yet the terrorist Iranian regime has remained fully committed to rebuilding its nuclear program. How do we know this? Because Iran has pursued this path of war and violence despite President Trump dispatching 2 of his top and most trusted negotiators to engage in exhaustive and good faith negotiations to try and reach a deal. And the world knows this president's preference is always peace and diplomacy first. Look no further than the 8 additional global conflicts he has ended in the past year as proof. Unfortunately, the terrorist Iranian regime refused to negotiate in good faith. They chose this path of violence and destruction, and they are reaping the consequences of their horrible decision. The regime did what they always have done. They lied, they delayed, they tried to string the United States of America along. They wanted to buy themselves time to continue building ballistic missiles and other deadly weaponry that could harm our U.S. personnel and troops in the region, and to continue aggressively pursuing their unacceptable nuclear ambitions. U.S. negotiators offered to lift crippling sanctions on Iran and even provide nuclear fuel to Iran at no cost to support a civil nuclear power program. They additionally had the opportunity to accept U.S. support as an investor in potential projects to develop peaceful nuclear energy together under a mutually agreed upon framework. Yet in response, Iran would have to forfeit their enrichment capacity once and for all. But Iran rejected. They accepted none of these generous and unprecedented offers by the United States. Simply put, they refused to say yes to peace. And their refusal made clear that their #1 priority was building a nuclear weapon with which to threaten the United States of America. Again,
not true whatsoever. Not like, guys, I hope you understand that she's just lying. She is a pathological liar. She's a professional liar. Her job is to lie. The United States government is lying to you and always fucking will.
They have been chanting death to for nearly 5 decades. Let me state this again clearly. Iran rejected the path of peace because the terrorists in charge of this regime wanted to build nuclear weapons to use against Americans and our allies. President Trump made the determination, a courageous determination and decision, that the path the United States was on with Iran had only one outcome: massive death and destruction at the hands of a nuclear-armed terroristic regime. That path of death and destruction and threats against the American people have ended with Operation Epic Fury. Operation Epic Fury has forged a new path that will better ensure the security of the—
So they are doing the mission accomplished. She just hit us with mission accomplished. She just said that it's over. Like, they're never going to do, like, okay, so you know what's going to happen is there's going to be an Iranian terrorist attack somewhere in the United States of America, and it's going to plummet their fucking reputation.
United States and our people. The terrorists made a bet that President Trump would be like many of his predecessors, that he would just talk and he would refuse to enforce his clear red lines. But that has proven to be a catastrophic error in judgment. When President Trump makes a threat, and I have reiterated that threat many times from this podium to all of you over the past year, President Trump does not bluff. The president's words are backed up by the mightiest warriors in the world who possess the most sophisticated capabilities this world has ever known. 49 and counting of the most senior Iranian regime leaders, including the supreme leader, have already been wiped off the face of the earth. Make no mistake, killing these brutal terrorists is good for America and makes the world a much safer place. I want to also extend our prayers and condolences to the families of the 6 U.S. military service members who have been lost in Operation Epic Fury. These heroes represent the very best among us. They laid down their lives in defense of our country, and we will never forget their legacy or their sacrifice.
They
As the
sacrificed their
president said,
lives for Jeffrey Epstein and Bibi Netanyahu.
we grieve for these American patriots and their families as we continue the righteous mission for which they gave their lives. President Trump intends to attend the dignified transfer of these American heroes to stand in grief alongside their families. I understand the Department of War is working on scheduling this transfer, and we will provide updates at the appropriate time. Finally, the Trump administration is also doing everything within our power to protect Americans in harm's way.
No, you're
Since
not.
the launch-
You've done absolutely nothing to bring home the over 1 million Americans trapped in the Middle East. He did charter a private jet to bring home MAGA influencers, though.
Of Operation Epic Fury, more than 17,500 Americans have safely returned home from the Middle East.
17,000. There's over 1 million Americans trapped in the Middle East right now, you dumb fucking cunt.
With over 8,500 American citizens returning home to the United States just yesterday alone. If you are a U.S. citizen in the Middle East looking to return to the United States, the Secretary of State asks that you please register with the State Department at step.state.gov. The State Department will identify where you are and provide travel options directly to you. The administration is already rapidly chartering flights free of charge and booking commercial options, which we expect to become increasingly available as time goes on and the success of this mission further comes to fruition. I know the President and Secretary of State Rubio have been in touch as well with our allies in the region directly about this problem, making it clear that it is a priority of the United States of America to bring every American home. The Trump administration will not rest until every American is home safely and until the terrorist threat from Iran has been completely destroyed. With that, I'll take your questions. Eric, why don't you kick us off today? Thank you for being here.
It's great to be here. As you mentioned, Iran's regime, its leadership has largely been decimated. Do we have a sense right now of who is actually calling the shots in Iran? And we're also hearing reports that the Supreme Leader's son may be named his successor. Do you have any more information?
We're going to fucking kill him now. We're going to kill that guy.
We've seen those reports as well, of course, and this is something that our intelligence agencies are closely monitoring and looking at. The truth is, we'll have to wait and see. The president has said repeatedly that the objectives of Operation Epic Fury are the 4 military objectives that I laid out for you previously: to destroy Iran's navy, to destroy their ballistic missile capacity, to ensure their proxies in the region can no longer harm Americans, and to also ensure that they can never obtain a nuclear weapon. As for what comes next for Iran, the president has said, of course, it's a good thing for the United States to want freedom for the Iranian people, and ultimately we hope that freedom rests in their hands.
You're right, dude. Freedom for the Iranian people is dropping a bomb on an all-girls school and slaughtering 180 little girls between the ages of 7 and 12, and also bombing all of their fucking hospitals. Yeah, no, that's what it means to free the Iranian people, is to start a refugee crisis in Iran, a nation with 90 million people, while we completely annihilate their entire fucking nation and all of their leadership. Yeah, no, it's going to be great, dude. Can't wait for the Iranian refugee crisis. I wonder who's going to let them in. Israel?
Muslim nations coming under fire as well. President Trump's vision for the region has been to bring the Arab and Muslim nations to the table together. Abraham Accords, obviously, with Israel. If this regime topples, could we see a new day in the region and really a new Middle East come out of this when the dust settles?
Well, though.
Oh my God, I'm having fucking flashbacks, bro. I'm having fucking flashbacks to like when all of these bootlicking, warmongering, fascist dogs were like, yeah, no, killing Saddam Hussein is going to bring about peace to the Middle East. Yeah, no, killing Gaddafi is going to bring out peace to the Middle East. Yeah, no, it's going to bring, like, dude, shut the fuck up, bro. Deja fucking vu.
The greatest deterrent to true and long-lasting peace in the Middle East has always been the rogue Iranian terrorist regime. And our Arab and Gulf partners in the nation admit that, as well as, of course, our close friend and ally Israel.
Israel says, the chief villain in the Middle East is Iran. Not me. Not me. I didn't do nothing. It's not like me and my people showed up here with Palestinian passports and then committed a fucking genocide called the Nakba and then stole all of their land and then built up a nuclear arsenal and then started bombing every single one of our fucking neighbors and then trapped millions of people in an open air prison and committed a fucking genocide on them. Yeah, no, it's Iran. It's Iran!
All of the Arab partners in the region come together during this time on the phone with President Trump, many of them commending him for this bold and brave action to protect American troops and our bases in the region that are housed in many of these Arab and Gulf states. And I know that many of these regional partners are contributing their air defense capabilities as well. Jordan, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, and the president continues to be engaged with all of them. Welcome. Garrett.
Humor me. Axios, I think, was the first to report this morning this phone call between the president and Prime Minister Netanyahu, saying that Netanyahu had given the U.S. this information about where the Ayatollah would be and that he'd be with his deputies on Saturday. How important was that information in the president making the decision to strike where and when he did?
I think it was important with respect to the timeline, but I think the president, prior to that phone call, had a good feeling that the Iranian regime was going to strike the United States assets and our personnel in the region. And the president was faced with a choice. Does the United States of America use our military and our capabilities to strike first to take out this threat that has been threatening our country and our people for 47 years, or is he going to, as commander-in-chief?
You're lying, you dumb cunt. You already did the briefing and all of the senators came out and said, yeah, we now know for a fact that Iran was not a threat to the United States. Iran was not planning an attack on the United States. Iran has never attacked the United States of America. You are a disgusting, lying fucking cunt.
Sit back and watch as the rogue Iranian regime attacks our people in the region. That's obviously an unacceptable decision. For the second choice there is unacceptable to the president, which is why he made this decision. As for where the Ayatollah was going to be, that obviously had an impact on the timeline of the operation, but not quite the president's decision in its entirety.
And then on the way the public is viewing this, we were sitting here last week, I asked you if the president was going to make this a big part of the State of the Union, if he felt like he had to sell the possibility that he'd do strikes like this. We're now 5 days on. He hasn't done kind of the traditional speech to the nation part of it. Does the president believe the country supports the actions that he's taken so far in Iran?
Of course he believes that.
I think he does, and I think the president knows.
Yep, of course he believes that. Just so you know, before the war in Iran started, only 21% of Americans supported the war. Right now, here's the thing. MAGA is a cult. It's a death cult. They're not allowed to think for themselves. So when Daddy Fuhrer tells them we're going to war with Iran, they have to be okay with it. That number then rose to 29%. So even at the high point, only 29% of Americans support the war in Iran. Granted, if you polled Republicans, it's probably somewhere between 80 and 85. Republicans are all mentally retarded. That's not a joke. Like, all Republicans are mentally fucking retarded. Or they're evil, or they're both. That's it, really.
Country is smart enough to read past many of the fake news headlines produced by people in this room that this action was unjustifiable. Again, this is a rogue terrorist regime that has been threatening the United States, our allies, and our people for 47 years. And the American people are smart enough to know that.
Lie.
And they've also been smart enough to listen to the president himself, not just over the past year in this second term, but during his first term as president, and also for the past 40 years of his life. This is a president who has been remarkably consistent on this issue, that Iran can never obtain a nuclear weapon.
Yo, you dumb fucking bitch. He quite literally gave that whole, you know what? Fuck it. I'm pulling up the clip. You really need me to play the fucking clip? All right, let's play what she just said.
But during his first term as president, and also for the past 40 years of his life, this is a president who has been remarkably consistent on this issue, that Iran can never obtain a nuclear weapon. And
all right, so let's see what he actually said.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Donnie Diddles kids.
The president tried peace through diplomacy, exhaustively and extensively. He and his team gave it their best go, and the president ultimately came to the determination of that peace was not a pursuable path. The Iranian regime, they want death, they want destruction, they want to kill Americans, and that's unacceptable to this president. It's intolerable to him as commander-in-chief. Jackie.
Thank you, Caroline. Obviously seen the update from the State Department on the 17,500 Americans that have already come back, including some 8,000 just yesterday. There are still 6,000 that are looking to get out, as I understand it. And just in the context of what you just told Garrett about the president's decision on a timeline, if he had decided to do this strike before receiving, the specific intelligence about the meeting on Saturday, should there have been more done in advance of the strikes to try to get those Americans in the region resources and information?
Probably should have gotten them out before.
There was many signs put out by the State Department, and I wish that everyone in this room would report on them. The Secretary of State issued level 4 travel advisories dating back to January for many of these countries in the region. On January 14th,
you lying
the U.S.
cunt.
mission to Saudi Arabia advised personnel and Americans to exercise increased caution and limit non-essential travel to any military installations. On February 11th, the U.S. Department of State Consular Affairs shared a list of countries with level 4 do not travel advisories. You can't be much more clear than that. Do not travel to these following countries. On February 23rd, the U.S. Embassy in Lebanon ordered non-emergency government personnel and family members to leave Lebanon due to safety risks, and we helped them do that. On March 2nd,
Can you imagine China joining the war? No, they don't have to, dude. China's doing the 3-step Chinese protocol. Step 1, beat China. Step 2, do nothing. Step 3, win. It's that fucking simple, dude. The Chinese are literally just encircling Taiwan, waiting for us to use all of our munitions, sell them all to Israel, fight the Iranians, and then they'll just waltz in and take Taiwan. We'll do literally nothing to stop them.
U.S. citizens to depart Lebanon immediately. With respect to Iran, on February 27th, the Secretary designated Iran as a state of sponsor of wrongful detention and stated no American should travel to Iran for any reason. And again, on February 27th, the U.S. ambassador to Israel warned Americans to leave Iran, and they provided travel advisory alerts through the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem. So the State Department was all hands on deck on advising extreme caution and do not travel alerts to Americans in the region. With respect to the Americans who are still in the region now, again, the State Department is asking that they register at the website so they can directly identify you, and we are actively and rapidly working to charter flights. There is some commercial flights that are taking off intermittently from these countries, and we plan to get Americans on board as quickly as possible, again, free of charge to them. And we have some additional measures that I think will be announced in the coming days. Again, I can also reiterate from the president's perspective, this is something he's brought up directly with our allies and partners in the region, that we expect their help in getting Americans home, and we will do that, and we will not rest until every single American is returned home safely.
Follow up just on how people might be experiencing this at home. With respect to the economy and the cost of oil spiking, is there a need to start those Navy escorts in the Strait of Hormuz now to sort of blunt the impact to people? And also, because Spain is a member of the EU, does that at all put a wrinkle in the president's plan for a trade embargo with them?
With respect to Spain, I think they heard the president's message yesterday loud and clear, and it's my understanding over the past several hours they've agreed to cooperate with the U.S. military, and so I know that
that's a
the
lie.
U.S. military is coordinating with their counterparts in Spain, but the president expects all of our European allies, of course, to cooperate in this long sought-after mission, not just for the United States, but also for Europe, to crush the rogue Iranian regime that, again, not only threatens America, but also threatens our European allies as well. With respect to oil prices and the economy here at home, of course, this is something that Secretary Bessent, Secretary Wright, the National Economic Council of Energy, that is led by Secretary Burgum, has been long working on and well in advance. Yesterday, President Trump announced the U.S. Development Finance Corporation will provide political risk insurance at a very reasonable price for crude carriers and cargo ships operating in and around the Gulf. And as you pointed out, Jackie, the president said, if necessary, and when appropriate, the U.S. Navy will begin escorting tankers through the Strait of Hormuz. I think it speaks to why this action was so necessary that ultimately the
You
energy
want to
industry
put
is going
U.S. destroyers escorting oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz and the Iranians have it fucking strangleholded? Bro, you just want one of our ships to be sunk. That's all. You're asking for that. You're asking for one of our ships to get sunk. Oh my fucking God.
benefit from the president's actions with respect to Iran because Iran will no longer be controlling the Strait of Hormuz and restricting the free flow of energy, which, as you all know, controls 20% of the world's global oil supply. Sure.
Thanks, Caroline. The president said yesterday there wasn't time to make evacuation plans because this all happened so quickly. Given how critical the president has been of the chaotic evacuation from Afghanistan by the last administration 5 years ago, why wasn't there more of a focus on evacuation plans from the Middle East that could have been at least put in place ready to go before the strikes this weekend?
Again, I just laid out for you that there have been plans in place and that the State Department has been very clear to the American people traveling within this region not to travel to these regions. We gave notices to leave immediately the countries where these Americans were within. And unlike the previous administration, we actually have a number. We actually have identified the number of people in the region who have requested help. We are in direct contact and engagement with them. And you have to keep in mind, there's a few thousand people who have requested assistance to come home in comparison to the millions who we understand are in the region. So we will help every single American.
I'm so glad she finally admitted that there are literally millions of Americans in the fucking region. Are you gonna evacuate all of them? Is that what you're gonna fucking do?
Who wants to come home if they're making that request of the State Department.
Thanks for the $10.
Who called the State Department hotline as recently as last night were being told, we can't help you, you have to make your own plans.
Well, the line was updated, and I expect every single person in this room to report on that accurately, so that information can
Suck
be
my
relayed
fucking
appropriately
dick,
to
cunt.
your audience.
I already reported on the fact that that fucking line wasn't working. We already fucking reported on that.
To the American people. I think as journalists, you all have a responsibility to let them know that the line has been updated accordingly with the proper guidance, because I saw many people in this room very quick to do selfie videos with the line yesterday, but not so quick to report on the corrected message today. So that is something the administration quickly worked to address, and we have fixed that problem. However, we're also pointing to people to the website, again, to register so that we know exactly where you are. So when there are commercial flights moving into that area, when there are chartered flights moving into that area, we can get Americans on planes as quickly as possible.
Do you have any details on how many chartered flights have been able to get out of the region so far with Americans on board?
I don't have an exact count for you, but I know that we're working on chartering many flights. As soon as we were doing it yesterday, we're doing it again today. And you should not expect us to detail exactly when these flights are taking off for obvious reasons. The Iranians have shown that they are not going to hesitate to target civilians in the region, which is completely intolerable. But for safety and security reasons, we're not going to be.
Bitch, you just murdered 180 little girls. And you want to talk shit about targeting civilians, bro? You just murdered 180 little girls. Luigi. Caroline Levitt killed 180 little girls. Hi, everybody. Luigi.
Broadcasting when flights full of Americans are going to be taking off, obviously. Danny.
At the top there, you said that the Iranian regime is being absolutely crushed. Can you explicitly say then whether or not regime change is a goal of President Trump's operation?
The goals of this operation have been made very clear, Danny, and the president has said them in his speech when he launched this operation and released that video in the middle of the night to all of you and to the world. The stated military objectives of Operation Epic Fury are as follows: eliminate Iran's ballistic missile threat, destroy their naval capability, disrupt missile and drone production infrastructure, sever their pathway and end their pathway to nuclear weapons. And I can report, as you all saw from the Pentagon today, that thus far this operation has been remarkably successful. Again, we're moving towards complete and total control of Iranian airspace. We have continuous 24/7 strike operations ongoing. We've had more than 2,000 targets that have been struck, nearly 2,000 munitions have been employed. The first 24 hours of this campaign were described nearly as twice the scale of the 2003 shock and awe campaign. campaign, and we've seen that the enemy, the Iranian rogue regime, their retaliatory strikes against the United States and the threat reduction has reduced significantly. If you look at the Iranian ballistic missile launches, they're down 86% from day one levels. So while the United States military continues to increase its complete dominance over this rogue regime, they are weakening day by day.
Regime change is not a phrase that you would want to use.
Again, Operation Epic Fury, I just detailed the goals and objectives of this very quickly. But obviously, as the president has said numerous times, do we want to see Iran being led by a rogue terrorist regime? No, of course not. So any day the United States of America is taking out a terrorist is a good day for our country and a good day for our people.
Given that point that you just make about the United States wouldn't mind seeing the government overthrown, certainly President Trump has talked about wanting to see Iranians overthrow the government. Has the president considered at all kind of how he views a U.S. role, if any, in Iran post-conflict?
I think it's something the president is actively considering and
All right, I'm done with this fucking dumb cunt. I'm done listening to her. Oh. There you go. All right. That's all I got for you. All right, guys. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go see a play later tonight. You know how it is. Go to the gym, see a play, eat some pussy, go to bed. That's the name of the game. That's the name of the game. That's the name of the game. That's living life. I might even make a chicken cutlet. I might make some chicken cutlets too. Oof. I make a couple of chicken cutlets. Oof. Unbelievable. All right, guys. I'm out of here. Arc later? Potentially. I'm going to be busy tonight. All right. Later, guys. GG's. 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 Have a good one. Have a good one.